Hi, Lynda, Kenny here. Are you someone that's ever feared change? A lot of people do fear change. You sometimes can say you don't, and then when it comes to it, you do. And so that's why I wanted to talk about that today. I can remember in a previous business when we were very, very first starting, it grew rapidly. And because it grew rapidly, things had to change. So you'd start. I started off with one member of staff, then there became two, then there became four, then there became 10, and you can imagine every time somebody new started, it changed the dynamics of the team, and managing that change is quite difficult, especially if someone in that team is frightened of change. And I wonder if you're someone that's frightened of change, because quite often we get in our comfort zone, don't we? We're very happy with the way things are. We don't want anything to be different. And then all of a sudden something comes along and turns the apple cart upside down, and it changes, and it can make you feel uncomfortable, can't it? Um, for instance, if you are just coming into a business and you've been used to doing things a certain way, and then you're told you've got to do it a different way, what does that do to you? You know, it can be very difficult to manage change. It can be hard to deal with it. Um, and you have to accept sometimes when there are changes that you go into like a transition mode. Um, and more often than not, change is tied up with your fears, because sometimes you're frightened of things changing. I'm trying to think of an example. For instance, when I sold my shares in my company, um, all along the process of getting to that point where it actually happened, I couldn't wait because I actually saw what could happen afterwards, and I wouldn't have to get up at 5 o'clock every morning like I had been doing, things like that. So I dreamed of not being in the company that I was in. And then when it actually happened, it was a very strange feeling indeed, and it did feel uncomfortable. And I thought, what am I going to do with myself every day? The dream I had didn't match up to what actually happened. And so you've got to be prepared for change. If you're, for instance, someone who's in the middle of changing jobs, or you're in the middle of introducing something new at work, or you've been told you've got to do something new, or if you're already in a team, let's just say you were in network marketing, for instance, and the way you've been doing things has been working perfectly for you. And then all of a sudden, there's this change comes from the top, and you've now got to start doing things differently. And so change is very hard, but it's also tied up with fear and what you're frightened of. And if you're someone that's worried about overcoming your fears and being more confident and being able to adapt more to change, this is where I could help you out. Because one of the things in high performance coaching we do is work on your courage and your confidence, and that includes overcoming your fears and not being afraid of change, and being adaptable and being confident that you can deal with any change that comes your way, providing it's not that negative. You go through changes, don't you, in relationships? Things can break down, things can be rocky for a while. There's all sorts of things that we have to adapt to in terms of change in our life, not just in our business. And so if you need help in that area, then reach out to me at callwithlynda.com, because I actually offer a 20-minute call where I can explore with you ways that I can help you in a much better way to cope with change, so that you're stronger and you're more confident and you're more courageous as well. So reach out to me at callwithlynda.com.